So let's get right into the 4 games.
Yep.
We'll start with the most recent game. Just finished up a few hours before Chris had to go to bed and then get up for Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio. The Buccaneers have done it. Tom Brady has done it again. They beat Drew Brees and the Saints 30-20 is the final score. And here's the sights after the game. I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
On social media. It's Tom Brady. It's Drew Brees there with a bro hug and then an actual hug. That's a friend hug right there. That's a family hug. Drew Brees' family on the field after the game.
I love the kid. He's like, Tom, throw me one.
And he does. Look at that.
Nice throw, too.
To one of Brees' children. And his daughter there is body slamming and kneeing one of his sons. I mean, she is actually very...
She, literally is going in on him. You're right.
We might need to press charges after all that. So it seems like Drew Brees' career is done. I mean, he's made that pretty clear. Jay Glazer was reporting that as well. He goes out with one of his worst games in the playoffs in his career.
Right.
Tom Brady moves on. I don't want to make this... the cool story is Tom Brady, right? He goes to a new team. It's
like
takes
same old results.
It's like same old result here. Right. But for me, it's like this wasn't about Tom Brady. This wasn't about the offense. Certainly wasn't about the passing game. It was about the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No.
I mean, the defense steps up, creates the turnovers, but outside of the turnovers, I feel like they had the Saints on the ropes at times throughout this.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I mean, listen, first off, I want to comment on that video. That was really cool.
Yes.
I mean, these are two top-notch individuals. I can speak to that just by knowing them, being around them before in my life. That was really cool, like amazing by Brady.
Yes.
I mean, to go out there and have catch with the other kid and do all that. It's one thing to go over and just say, hey, it was great seeing you. Oh, hey, Mrs. Breeze, blah, blah, blah. Good luck to you guys. I'm out of here. Just sit there and then be like, hey, Mr. Brady, throw me a pass. And he's throwing it. Like, that was really cool. Really cool.
And he's old, so he was probably tired, too.
I would think he's tired, but he still looks young by the way he's playing. He definitely is. But Ahmed, yeah, you're exactly right. To me, yes, we're going to talk about Brady. It's amazing what he's doing. 14th, conference championship. Wherever he goes, he wins. He's clutch, whatever. I know all of that. You're right. But to me, the story of that game is the defense, one, the turnovers they created, to your point, and then two, the plan of attack by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, first off, we knew that running the ball was important. I didn't think they were going to go that steadfast. They were stubborn with it, and they really stuck with it. And that's where I really give Bruce Arians a lot of credit, Ahmed, because it's a guy that's famous for his down-the-field passing attack. Yeah. And they basically played a game where they said, to a point at one point in the game where you're sitting there going, man, are they going to continue to be this conservative? They're not going to win the game if they're this conservative. Are they really going to keep running the ball like this? I mean, that's what I was saying to myself at one point. But I think they felt like they were willing to go, we're going to play this style of game because we think it's our greatest chance to win the game. The Saints beat people with their pressure on the quarterback, forcing the quarterback to throw into crazy coverages downfield, or, a crazy blitz that sneaks up on the quarterback and forces a strip sack fumble. That's what they've done to people all year long. That's what they did to Tampa in the 2 times they beat them. I think Tampa came away and said, okay, let's take that aspect away, and let's just keep this into a 1-score game late in the 4th quarter, and our quarterback's Tom Brady, and we got our chance. And they kind of stood with that. Now, it didn't come to that, but they played that way, and I really give them a lot of respect for their diligence in sticking with that game plan.
Yeah, Pete just got in my ear and said that the Bucs ran 5 times the last time they played, 35 times in this game. Even with Ronald Jones, who I give him a lot of credit out there. He had a bad quad.
Right.
He was still able to rip off 62 yards on 13 carries. Fournette with 63 yards. Yeah, a concerted effort to run the ball, to limit the time that the Saints had the ball here. This is a question from the Step Back 512, and it goes along what we were just talking about here. Was the Bucs' improved defensive performance this week more of a result of the Saints' offensive limitations with Drew Brees at quarterback, or their own improvement? What adjustments did they make compared to the first 2 meetings? And what I would say is it's my only song. Todd Bowles in this house. There's some Bowles in this house. There's some Bowles in this house. Right? Todd Bowles. That defense. Certified freak.
Yeah, 7 days a week.
Much maligned here in the second half of the season. I think there were times where we're like, wow, the Bucs defense is not who we thought they were. We thought they were better. They're just not that good. I feel like whatever they did, whatever Todd Bowles did here, worked? Did you identify exactly what that was?
I think after the first drive or two and they got a feel for what the Saints were doing, listen, this is going to be a common theme. We got to go down this road a little bit. They basically just said, well, we got to get in their face. What are we scared of? What are we scared of? Why would we be playing soft zone coverages and just play into the hands of Drew Brees and company and let him throw 4 and 5 yard passes in between our zone coverage and just dissect us that way? That's what they did the first 2 times. You know, the last time they played, once they got down big, they changed up their plan of attack and played a little bit like they did yesterday. But it was too late. The game was blown out. But I'm sure when they look back at that film, they went, you know what? Why? Why did we play these soft zones? What were we protecting against? This is not Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. You know, this is Drew Brees, who right now at this point of his career is famous for not being able to throw the ball. So I think the big thing was, Ahmed, more than anything, is just the aggressive nature of the Tampa Bay defense. That's really what we saw. You know, the interception, okay, the first one. Tight man-to-man coverage on Michael Thomas, right? They weren't going to let him throw a 4-yard route out into the flat where it's zone, and so there's that interception. You know, there was a few other bang-bang plays, of course, into tight coverage. The other interception, more of a zone coverage, but then it's still Brees' inability to back people off that kind of caused that too. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's just the defense itself, they knew they had to do something different from the first 2 times around. And I think the biggest difference just from watching the game and quickly watching film here this morning was just an aggressive, in-your-face attack by the Bucs because they realized who they're playing against.
All right, the reason I like this podcast is we dive into this stuff. You look at the film. Let's dive a little bit deeper into one of those interceptions for Drew Brees. It's our film deep dive brought to you by Applebee's. Addy M27 says, can you walk us through the Brees interception when Kamara was running straight? I don't know whose fault that was. We want to blame someone. We always want to blame someone.
Sure.
I want to know who messed up.
Right. Well, I'll say, like, you know, Troy Aikman tries to protect quarterbacks, and he doesn't always just call it like it is that way. He's
because once you're a quarterback, you're in the club.
He's very diplomatic that way.
Yes.
Listen, this was totally Drew Brees' fault if we break this down, and I'm not trying to blame or you know.
You are. You're trying to blame him. Yeah.
I'm blaming him. Yeah, it's all right. He's making $25 million a year, and it's true. This play, specifically that you saw here, Alvin Kamara running up the seam, you've seen it before in the NFL. You saw it a few years ago. Andy Reid invented it. Kareem Hunt running up the seam against the New England Patriots on the opening Sunday of football a few years ago. Everybody runs this play now, right? So it's the 3 verticals play. You see Kansas City run this play all week. Tyreek Hill runs the inside guy. They got everybody going straight. So they're doing it right now out of the shotgun. Kamara is in the backfield right next to Brees, all right? You're going to see Cook release inside and kind of run a post go route. And then the 82 runs the outside go route. And Kamara is going to run right up the middle to be the seam route. Mm-hmm. Now, go back one more time, Pete, as we break this down, just to where before he throws the ball. Stop it right there if we can. First off, the protection's perfect, right? You can see it's a 4-man rush. They got everybody blocked up. There's no issue there. The play is and against this look and this defense, the play is for these 3 verticals on the right-hand side. I don't know why Drew Brees throws this ball so quickly. This is a seam route, which is somewhat of like a go route. I've never seen a seam route really at any point, unless it's a blitz and a hot, where you're supposed to be throwing it and completing it at 9 yards. There's no such thing. If he lets Alvin Kamara run here and drives and hits him with the ball around the other team's 45-yard line, he's going to score a touchdown maybe. It's going to be a foot race between him and Carlton Davis. I don't know what led to him to throwing the ball that way. Alvin Kamara he's not turning around thinking, wait, on a go route, I need to look at 8 yards and think, he's not thinking that. He's thinking, I've caught this ball in practice all week around 19 to 22 yards down the field. That's how it's taught. That's how Sean Payton teaches it. That's how John Gruden teaches it. I don't know why Drew Brees threw it that way. I don't. But again, that's sometimes where, you know, we talk about lack of arm strength, some of the issues with Drew Brees. And see, when you're not throwing the ball well or you don't trust the way you're going to throw it, it affects decisions. And that's what I can point to things like that all over football during the year. But I don't know what led him to want to throw that ball quickly. If he just lets it develop, he's got a really good chance at a completion and a big play down the field. But as we know, it was intercepted, and really the game was never the same after that. It was kind of over after that.
Yeah, and Devin White I thought Devin White looked really good in this game.
Yeah.
He had 11 tackles, an interception, had that fumble recovery.
It was
as
amazing.
Well. He was all over the field.
The best defensive player on the field yesterday.
It looked like it,
yes,
right? There was one play early where Alvin Kamara, I think he caught it like 3 yards short of the first down mark, and I was like, oh, he's going to get the first down.
And he just
Devin White
right
was there in a flash.
I know.
It was just like, wow, and a strong tackle, and he was like ended up 2 yards short.
Right.
And it was like from that point forward, I was like, man, he's having a good game. And that was before the fumble recovery and the interception.
Right.
So Devin White was a star there. He was the star of our film deep dive brought to you by Applebee's. That is, you know what that is?
That's good stuff.
That's professional hosting.
That
right
is.
there. You know, like you did well with your part of it, breaking down the film.
Yeah.
But to get the end, and then Kristen hit it.
That was professional. You were
to,
Mahomes. I was just Chad Henne there. That was the way to go.
Kristen, do you have? Oh no, we don't have the chart on.
Other thing is.
No, hold on.
Okay. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
What was our first Twitter question, the first one you asked me? Because I feel like there was a part I didn't answer there.
About the Saints' offensive limitations with Drew Brees or defensive improvements. You covered that.
It all.
Here's
what
I want to know.
Yeah.
A little critical, and you have been, of Drew Brees and the arm strength, and we all can see it, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like maybe it was getting better as the year went on. They were able to stretch the field a little bit more, but clearly could not in this game. If the quarterbacks are switched in this game, if Tom Brady, who didn't have that great of a game, 18 completions, 199 yards.
Right.
If the quarterbacks are switched, do the Saints win this game?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have very little doubt.
Very little doubt. I don't. I have great respect for Drew Brees, and of course Tom Brady. To compare those two right now is not fair to Tom Brady. Tom Brady is still playing at an unbelievably high level, and the game does not have to be called or the game plan changed in any way for him other than if you want him to throw the ball down the field, you got to protect him, right? He's not going to stand there and take shots. That's not the same for the other guy. The other guy, Drew in New Orleans, the offense, the plan of attack is being changed a little bit because there's things he can't do. And they can't call certain plays, and they got to call in certain situations different plays because they don't know what they're going to quite get. And, Ahmed, to your point here and everything we're talking about, here's the spray chart. There's not one pass over 20 yards. It's too hard in the NFL to win that way, let alone in the playoffs against playoff defenses win that way. And that's why we've seen the Saints the last 3 years lose in playoff games where they're the better team on the field, but they can't create a big play or anything like that to take the pressure off of their team. And it's just too hard to consistently right now go, 12 plays, 80 yards in the playoffs, 5 yards at a time. Listen, Aaron Rodgers and the Buccaneers and Mahomes, they can do it. But they can do it. Why? Because everybody's worried about them throwing deep. So the short passes are wide open. It's easy for them to do it. Nobody's playing that kind of defense against the Saints. They're going, the hell with the deep defenses. Let's just stop the short pass. And yet they're still trying to throw it short. So it's hard to do that, if that makes sense in that little synopsis there.
What a great career for Drew Brees.
Amazing.
I think overachieved in a lot of respects, right? With the size and his arm strength is better back when in his prime, but still not like he ever had a rocket arm.
Exactly.
And so he's produced very well. Now you kind of see the changing of the guard with the Saints. They did bring in Jameis Winston for that trick play. They stole from the Bears.
How cool is that?
This is really cool.
That Sean Payton's like, I bet you the one thing they won't be expecting is the play that almost screwed us last week.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of genius right there.
A guy that is called an offensive genius and has, the wherewithal to say, I can still steal plays from other people. It doesn't need to be mine.
He's a king. He loves stealing plays. I know that, and he brags about it at times. He doesn't care.
What did the Bucs do on this play? If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw it.
I think it was a little bit of the, it's just total confusion of, Alvin Kamara, it's the reverse, the guy covering the damn receiver, Traquan Smith,
yeah.
right? He just ends up looking in the backfield and following the ball instead of playing man-to-man coverage the way he should be. And, I'll bring up a thing, too. Pete Dimolitis asked before we start, because Pete Dimolitis said his wife, who went to my high school, very intelligent, she observed, right, that she's like, well, why did they need Jameis Winston in for that play and not just leave Drew Brees? But maybe if you see Drew Brees there and the ball starting to toss to him, you're thinking more pass maybe. I don't know. I mean, Drew Brees, we know, is not famous for throwing the ball deep. Sure. Not that that was that deep of a throw. I think he certainly could have still made that throw.
Yeah.
I don't know what, or was it just a total like, hey, you, Tampa Bay, here's a touchdown pass from Jameis Winston, up yours. So I don't know.
What do you think? Real quick on the Saints here, because I mean, it's going to be a different, no Drew Brees, it looks like. It's not official yet, but it looks like that's what's happening. You have Jameis Winston on the roster. You have Taysom Hill on the roster. You have salary cap issues galore. I don't know if they're going to have to hit a reset or what they're going to do in New Orleans.
They're going to have to do some shuffling.
What's your gut telling you? You think Jameis is the guy moving forward? Taysom.
I think it's Taysom.
You do?
I think it is Taysom. I wouldn't be shocked, though, if they pay Jameis high-level backup money to stay. Taysom's been hurt a lot recently. You're going to run him with those wildcat-type plays and stuff like that? Well, I could tell you he's going to get a banged-up knee or a concussion next year, too, so you better have a good backup. So that could be a very real possibility. I don't think Jameis Winston's done enough to be able to – no one out there is going to go, we need him as a starter. Let's get him back. It wasn't like a Teddy Bridgewater thing, right? So I would imagine it is Taysom Hill with Jameis Winston being basically 1B as the backup quarterback and ready to go. But I just think there's too much of an intrigue and a love affair between Sean Payton and Taysom Hill, and I think he wants to run that kind of offense a little bit. And I expect it, to go there when all's said and done. But like you said, amazing career by Drew Brees.
Yes.
It really is. And he's more physically talented than we all give him credit for, even in his prime. He was a phenomenal athlete. Yeah, his arm wasn't Mahomes or Rodgers, but it was still a damn good arm. And, if that was his last game, it stinks that it ended in that fashion. And last thing, too. Still, with all these things we're saying, it's 20-13. They're playing man-to-man, aggressive in your face. It's 3rd and short. They throw a freaking slant route, the perfect play call for that coverage to Jared Cook, and Antoine Winfield makes the play of the game to strip him. That was the play of the game. Because to that point, they had yet to force Tampa into, okay, now Brady, you're going to have to drop back and throw, and we're going to be able to get our pass rush and our crazy coverages, and now we can make the game we wanted. To that point, they had, and if they just get a field goal there and go 23-13 or 27-13, they're definitely going to force now Tampa to go, we can't go Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. We're going to have to pass block these guys. Brady, you're going to have to get uncomfortable, and they're going to do some crazy coverages. And that was, to me, the play of the game. A rookie safety out of Minnesota. Chris Simms, top safety in the draft last year. Antoine Winfield.
You're setting the table for me because you know what we have to give you for that? Kristen, get ready. We got to give you a victory lap.
Thank you.
For Antoine Winfield.
Victory! We have to. Victory. Victory is mine. Victory!
Fire Howie Roseman 2021 on Twitter said, remember when Chris said Winfield was the best safety in the class? Perhaps he could draft for us. So he wants you to go to New York and draft for them. Or
for the Eagles.
For Philadelphia.
Right. He wants Howie fired, right?
Exactly.
Right. He wants me to take over Howie's job.
You had Winfield 1, you had Xavier McKinney 2, Blackman 3, Kyle Duggar 4. Ashton Davis, you had 5 there. But, we could also give you a victory.
I messed up on my – only one I messed up – I like that list there. The kid from Carolina who, what's his name, Pete? Jeremy Chin. I should have had him in the he would be the one where if you go, where'd you mess up there? I go, Jeremy Chin probably should have been 3rd or 4th in that list there.
Before we put a button on this one, you could also get maybe a victory lap on Michael Thomas. He was injured this year for sure, and so you almost got to throw that out. But he didn't have a catch in this game. 77 career games, including the playoffs. This was his first without a catch. And Ed Boy 24 says Chris deserves a victory lap for telling people last year that Michael Thomas was not the number 1 wide receiver.
No,
so you finally get a victory lap.
You'll never hear me say that. He's at no point has he ever been the best receiver in football. Statistically, yes. But as you see yesterday in a little of those things.
Yeah, what happened? How did he not get a catch?
It's scheme related sometimes. It's not. He's a really good football player, but he's a great piece in an offense where he fits perfectly as that piece, and he's really good within that, realm of what he's asked to do. But again, I'll say this again. If you put him in Seattle and asked him to be like, oh, you got to do DK Metcalf stuff, we wouldn't know Michael Thomas as we know Michael Thomas. Or if you put him in Tyreek Hill's spot in Kansas City and just said, no, we don't run 4-yard, routes and pick for you and find 75 ways to throw it to you 6 yards. No, we just run, and you got to run to that spot and beat that guy. And you got to run to that spot and make it right and beat that guy. And that's not what he can do all the time. And that's why, they played aggressive in their face because, one, they went, there's no receiver here that's scary that's going to run by us. Two, there's a quarterback that can't throw the ball that deep. And three, man, do you have an unbelievable quick drop back pass game that can just pick apart zones. So why would we do that? And you know what? What happened? They got 2 interceptions and a strip because they played a different style of football. Yeah. But they'll have a different animal this week in Aaron Rodgers and company.
The Bucs are moving on.
Moving on.
Different animal against the Packers. The Saints are done, so let's lay them to rest as we tie this one up. So we will lay them to rest, which is what we do with the Barry teams. A successful season for the Saints, once again. Didn't end the way they wanted to. Here lie the New Orleans Saints, a team that needs to break up with the playoffs once and for all because this truly has become a toxic relationship. It's just a bad relationship overall, right?
Like
they're not getting along.
It's
like they go into the playoffs, it's bad news, they're treated poorly there, stop going.
Right.
Which they might. Something seemed rather amiss, each pass into an abyss. It's Drew's final shout until he finds out we've decided to pair him with Chris. Then he might go back for one more year. He might go back.
He might be like, man, the hell, I don't want to work with that tall.
He's like, oh, that's what you're going to have me do? Okay, then I will go back. All right, so that's the New Orleans Saints. We lay them to rest. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are moving on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.